Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this wonderful match of the MavWar tournament that we have right in front of us. I understand that you probably could have heard the last part of that war room conversation that the casters/streamers were having. Sorry for the delay that we're seeing in front of us here as well. We are just waiting for one more player, I believe, to join the server. I am Barlow, one of your two casters for this evening's game, and I'm joined once again by the one and only Mr. Hollywood. Hollywood, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hollywood, what do you expect from this matchup we're going to be seeing in front of us tonight?
Well, other than this apparent newcomer that we have on the team, this looks like it should be a pretty good match. I mean, we've got Lecky, Lupe, and David on the one hand, and we have Pixie, I believe, Archer, and Sheep on the other side. I have played with Lupe and Lecky before, and I do know them as pretty good players myself.
And we are indeed going live. So on the Survivor side of things, it's going to be Team Yaeger Bagels with Archer, Pixie, Amethyst, and Yaki. And who do we have for Coach Dave's Academy, Hollywood?
On Coach Dave's Academy, we've got Asian, Lupe, Amaryllis, and Lecky. And this, I just realized what you actually were referring to. We have a Smoker, Hunter, Charger, Boomer hit.
Oh, no, I meant the names. No, I was asking you the name rundown too. It's all good. I mean, we got everything together. The Smoker wants to get a pull from the front, not going to land. Hunter does land the pin on the side. Charger trying to line something up and does actually land a charge onto Amethyst right there. So a total of 11 damage with a Boomer pop coming out on that first hit. Not really a whole lot to speak of. And right now we have our first tank of the game for Coach Dave's Academy up into the hands of Lecky. We're going to keep it here for a minute because I think casting these long rock tanks, you know, it's pretty entertaining when the casters do it, and sometimes the SI worms just hit, you know?
Absolutely. Reloading. So Lecky's maneuvering himself behind this large bus. He's going to start moving his way forward. And as you were telling me, Rails, these survivors, they've taken up positions on top of the cars. They're gradually chipping away at Lecky's tank with their Uzis. We do have a Hunter going in onto Ellis, but gets cleared. Smoker pulls Coach. We got a double boom out onto Nick and Coach from the back. This is sort of what I was expecting to see. This map, you know, without any Boomer support, I think this tank is going to have a really hard time making much of anything happen right now.
Yeah, and she's trying to move her way in right now, trying to get over that fan, but usually a double boom might be a signal for a tank to try to commit, but in an area such as this, the survivors can shoot the comet and then back all the way up. They managed to get her down to 40% on her first pass, and that rock's going to get skied as well. If they land another Boomer here, that might be the time to commit it, but playing these long rock tanks is all about how well can the tank coordinate those rocks with the SI hit going in. So it's very, very dependent on the SI team's chemistry. And the tank is going to start pushing her way up to the semi-truck right now. I'm not sure if that's going to signal the commit or if this is just going to be another way for her to play rock or rotate to the back. It looks as though she is actually going to work her way in, so we're going to keep this right here. Boomer spawning up and does get immediately popped by Dr. Sheep right there. Charger's going to be coming in as well. Tank looking for a first punch, managing to land onto Nick, and the Charger actually takes that target. Tank's going to throw a rock at Nick as well, knocking him into the guardrail a couple of times right there to get the in cap. And now with less than 1k HP, that tank is going to be dead with a single down going out, Hollywood.
Don't mean to be picking on you.
Yeah, you know, these tanks are not easy to play with, as you said. It's all about that synergy between the tank and its special infected. Lecky was forced to go, you know, was to move up before she wanted to. That tank was gradually getting chipped away and losing frustration, and unfortunately that Boomer spawn right behind the car for the survivors did get popped, so that tank there was really nothing left to do but look for that one delayed, you know, held up survivor to land that in cap. So I think all in all that was about the best that they could do, Coach Dave's Academy.
Yeah, and I guess one of the other strategies would have been if the tank wanted to rotate to that bush in the back and force the survivors forward where there are a couple other spawns. They might have tried that, but they like the setup they had. The Boomer obviously with key there got popped right next to that Jimmy Gibbs stock car. And now the survivors are going to have to be able to not take a whole lot of damage on these next couple of hits, because if they can, only that one down at the start is really going to help them in terms of preserving this bonus. Dark Carnival 1 is a long map.
Absolutely, it's a long map, and this highway/bridge area does provide a lot of nice spawns. We've got a Hunter, Spitter, Smoker, Charger readying up, and it looks like they're looking to take this as the survivors are passing under the highway.
Indeed, and the survivors are baiting it out because they know they really don't have, you know, they don't have to rush. They only have one bleeding. Hunter coming in from the back. Charger going in as well, lagging a little bit, not going to land. We do see a momentary double cap with a spit overshooting and a couple of Charger punches in the back right there. But again, that multi-cap pretty quickly cleared, and we're going to see Team Yaeger Bagels keep pushing their way through this. The Witch is at 47%, and she is going to be in actually next to the white van, next to the alarm car.
Yeah, it's a pretty unfortunate spawn for the infected. There should, like, she's pretty out of the way. But regardless, we are going to have a Jockey, Boomer, Hunter, and a Spitter. Unfortunately, no Charger or... It looks like they're going to draw the Witch right now. Boomer goes in, doesn't land any Arc Boom. The Witch is gradually making her way up on top of the building.
I like this call by the survivors because even though that Witch was a little bit out of the way, it would have been easy for something to aggro her as the survivors ran underneath because of, I think it's the zone mod aggro radius or the ace mod aggro radius that actually goes into U mod here. So they take that pretty quickly, dodge the Arc Boom, but now they should be able to get past this choke actually without the 3-cap being up if they go fast enough. This Hunter's already pre-spawned though, going for the wall kick, not going to land until now when the spin is already fat in front of where the survivors were. Jockey also gets cleared, and these are some staggered hits we're seeing now, Hollywood, from Team Coach Dave's Academy.
Yeah, Yaeger Bagels are taking this extremely well. Like you said, they've only got one survivor bleeding. They can still take their time. Coach Dave's didn't have a Charger to work with. Of course, they do have one ready now. This motel room, you know, without like 3 cappers, it's really difficult to make anything.
Right, and that Boomer getting shut down right there was pretty pivotal because as that hit was going in, I think what they were aiming to do is get like a pull charge forward, but they've also given up the drop hit. I'm kind of surprised to see that go the way that it did. Asian tried to get that early boom, but got popped right away, and then the rest of the pinners pretty shut down in order. And I think because of that now, they're going to have probably, 2-2 for this last hit, and this is still a lot of bonus on Team Yaeger Bagels. They've pretty much only taken damage at the tank.
Yeah, Coach Daves is struggling to make something happen. I mean, Yaeger Bagels is showing some really good synergy. They're playing this really cautiously. They're not getting greedy because, I mean, they've already got one survivor incapped, and they're playing this really well. We do have a Charger Jockey coming in from the left. Jockey gets onto Nick, taken by the Charger into the spit. That's going to be a ton of damage, and we do also have a double boom onto Rochelle and to Ellis.
Yeah, now, of course, the caster curse being employed just a little bit right there because as they came up that hill, they were able to get that charge spit onto damage bonus, so that is going to help out a little bit. They still have 3 survivors on Yaeger Bagels with pretty high permanent HP, and the infected might be able to throw a couple of spawns right here at the end, but it's probably not going to amount to another massive amount of damage. They do get a tri-cap with a spit here, but that Hunter actually is going to land on the Nick, and the door is not quite closed, and Pixie is black and white, and that is the damage bonus being hit one more time, actually managing to drop the survivors down to a score of 841 points. Still impressive, but those last 2 hits did a great amount of work.
Yeah, it's a nice amount of bonus for Coach Daves, and other than that last, I should say after that sort of last hiccup with these last 2 hits, Yaeger Bagels took that, you know, they handled that map really well. This is a really good start for them. So we're going to see what they're going to make happen as the infected now.
Yeah, and I mean, that score of 800 some points, like I've seen teams score between even like 1K, maybe as close to 1.1K with that early rock tank, if they're able to shut everything down, then just pipe the tank away. As we mentioned, that tank for Coach Dave's Academy was able to get that single down after taking a pin that had already landed from the special infected support. You know, and that's really one of the only things the tank can do there, because typical methodology is like, okay, have tank go in, try to get it down, or some kind of corner, some kind of initiation on its own. But in an area that's that wide open, you really can't rely on that, because the survivors can just kite around as much as they kind of want. We are going to be going live with the second half of this first map of Dark Carnival right here, MavWar Hype Unity 2018 tournament. And now we're going to see what Team Coach Dave's Academy can do on the survivor side. I'll let Hollywood take away this first hit.
All right, as before, we have a Charger, Smoker, Boomer, Hunter. Looks like the Charger and Smoker are going to look to spawn behind this tree. A Boomer's looking for a cheeky little spawn right next to Rochelle behind the car as soon as she moves. The Smoker goes in, gets taken by the Charger. We got a Hunter moving in onto Ellis. The Boomer lands a single boom onto Ellis. Overall, a little bit better than what Coach Dave did. They did land a charge briefly that did, I think, a 10 damage or so. Regardless, we do have the tank up in the hands of Yaeger Bagel's Archer.
Indeed, Team Captain Archer getting this first rock tank right here, and once again, we're going to keep it in the caster war room for a little bit before going into either team war room, since we like to see how these rock tanks play out. We have a Boomer Hunter and a Charger for the first special infected hit, and this is a more aggressive position that I really do like, because the survivors are able to kite all around on top of these cars. For those in chat who have watched competitive Left 4 Dead for a while, I remember Team Apollyon was a pretty particular fan of this spot as well. Hunter bouncing around on the left-hand side. Boomer is trying to get an arc boom right here, does get shot in the face by Asian. Single boom going out onto Asian as well, and now the survivors once again are going to back up.
Yeah, this is exactly what we saw the last time. You know, landing a boom is quite helpful here, but with all these cars and such a long distance for the tank to make, it's really hard to take advantage of that. The survivors are just going to move back to the spawn, back to the stock car, and again, this is a big, wide open space. The tank's going to have a really hard time going in and getting any kind of a corner without some really good SI support.
Now, right here, he's debating, I think, whether or not he would want to commit with the rest of that horde, but he is actually going to be rolling it in right now. Smoker's already pre-spawned. Imagine you get a pull onto Rochelle, who is common locked by the last bit of that common. The rest of the hit is coming in now as well, but Asian trying to kite this tank around, managing to juke a punch right there, running backwards, about to run into the guardrail, plus the jockey, but the tank wasn't able to hit that. Asian jumping back around, Rock's gonna miss as well, coming back in, getting shredded by these Uzis, still pushing Asian in the corner, finally getting the lock on him, pressed up against the fence. The survivors are going to try to kill this tank right now before any other damage goes out. E-Rock not going in, but we're going to see just about the same amount of damage going out right now. This tank is so low, 210 HP, missing a rock onto the fence right there, and that is going to be a dead tank. That was some nice kiting by Asian to take that much time before getting cornered.
Yeah, absolutely. That jump right here in the bush area was crucial, and I think they took advantage of the fact that, you know, the tank, I think, was momentarily a bit blinded by this bush that they were trying to walk through.
Yeah, I mean, and at this point, you know, pretty similar situation as I mentioned. One set of pills committed, a single down going out onto a survivor, and that's just about all that tank could get. So if Team Coach Dave's Academy can take those hits at the motel area and the witch as well as Team Yaeger Bagels did, they'll be in a great spot. Smoker trying to pull in the back, Hunter getting taken out of the sky, Smoker getting cleared, Boomer's gonna get popped, and this is some nice survivor play we're seeing on these last couple of exchanges with the SI.
Yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a staggered hit, but we did see Coach Dave's have some staggered hits of their own on the infected side. Obviously, you know, these teams are not super familiar with each other, but overall, we're seeing some great survivor play.
Yeah, and that's the kind of Left 4 Dead I personally like to watch, when both survivor teams have their shit together and are able to find a way to just, you know, showcase the SI in a way where the only SI team that's going to hit them is one that has great coordination. And obviously, these teams haven't been playing together for a fantastic amount of time since they were specifically formed for this tournament. But in the end, it's always about what survivor team is going to make more mistakes and what special infected team can capitalize on them. They have a Hunter, Spitter, Charger, and a Jockey for the Yaeger Bagels on this hit. And now, Hollywood, what do you think they should do with this witch?
Right here, I think we're going to see them try and aggro her from this building in front of the billboards. That would be my call, because as we saw with Coach Dave's, that worked out extremely well for them. There's not a lot of spawns, and that is what they're going to do. They blast that witch. She's getting a little bit tripped up, although she does climb up the motel instead, and is going to make her way to the survivors.
Yeah, and witches are skill, as we know. And this witch is going to be working its way in. I think it's still looking for Asian, and Asian's standing in the back right now, swiping around, trying to ladder punch him, not going to work, and she is still going, climbing over the fence, actually. And she just warped to the other side of the fence, and is going to get taken out with a couple of charger punches going out. That charger was doing some nice juking, weaving in and out right there. So a little bit of damage going out. Witch Crown did go out, and now Coach Dave's Academy should be able to keep pushing their way through.
Yeah, that witch was not quite as straightforward, but of course the witch's pathfinding is notoriously terrible, and I personally have seen quite a lot of witch shenanigans during this tournament. A lot of witches landing when they shouldn't have, and a lot of witches just behaving so spectacularly stupid.
do have a 3-boom going out, and a stick going onto the 2 survivors in front. There is the split, but there's only 1 pinner up in the hands of that Smoker, getting a pull onto Asian, but quickly cleared by Lecky right there. So now, this Boomer's going to probably go for a re-boom when it can, managing to land it once again onto Rochelle right there. And I believe that'll give time for the Special Infected to step the way they want. Survivors have been clearing Horde for a good portion of this map from, you know, different booms plus the Wandering Common, and the Infected are going to try to take advantage of that right now. Charger going in, managing to land on to Asian right there, taking him back with a Hunter landing for a double cap. That's a good amount of damage, and the last spawn is a Spitter. Probably going to try to delay Rochelle a little bit more before she gets back here, because they're going to try to hit on this intercept, and the Survivors are super duper split.
Absolutely. Like I said, this motel chargers are so great to use here, and we just saw that the spawns were a little bit staggered, not too organized, but that one charger has wasted a lot of time for these survivors.
Yeah, and at this stage, I think that Boomer is probably going to try to go for something on the drop. That could have been a lot worse had there been other spawns in the queue, but the Spitter wasn't really able to slow Rochelle down that much, and now they should be able to work their way towards the drop with the SI facing a 3-cap, well, showing them a 3-cap rather, with a Jockey, Boomer, Smoker, and a Charger for this hit. So this could do a lot of damage.
Absolutely. A charge from behind, which it does appear to be, that's what the plan is. Another smoke charge from behind, like what Coach Daves did when they were infected. The Smoker is up, the Jockey's up. Unfortunately, I think they spawned a little bit too early. They're backing off already.
Yeah, and at this stage, we're going to see probably a slow play from the Special Infected here until the Survivors get down. Single Boom does go out. Charger's flying behind the tree. Smoker looking for it right here. Charger goes for a free charge, not going to land. Jockey bouncing around as well. Charger gets melted. Jockey does land onto Asian in the front, who is the damage bonus at this point. And the Smoker pull in the back does delay Ellis for a split second, but at this stage, they've still only taken that 1 in-cap. They've done a pretty good amount of damage onto the bleeding Survivor, and that has obviously affected the damage bonus. We're going to be seeing pretty comparable scores, I'd say, going into the second map, barring some kind of catastrophic hill hit.
Absolutely. Like I said before, a lot of the matches that we've seen so far have been extremely close, very entertaining. And if this first match is, if this first map, I should say, is any indicator, it looks like we may be in for another one, which is what I like to see. We do have a Boomer getting popped. Hunter jumping around, gets skeeted. We have a charged Spitter still up. They might be able to get a last bit of damage here if they play these spawns well.
The Charger going for it, almost landing on a Coach who was already in the safe room right there. Spit does go out, and I believe this is actually going to put Team Coach Dave's Academy ahead by just a fraction going into the second map. They are indeed going to finish the map with a total score of 917 points to Yaeger Bagels 841, so a 76-point game going into that second map. Very close, as you already mentioned, but now, something that I've seen about Dark Carnival matches too specifically is that these tank spawns can be very, very intriguing, especially the one that, of course, makes the Survivors fight the tank in the small room on this second map. I think some will know what I'm talking about, and it seems to occur mostly in matches and not in a lot of other, you know, pug scrims or any other game mode, I would say. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, as you said, fighting the tanks indoors in this like sort of warehouse area can be really disastrous for the survivors. It really would be interesting, obviously, like during the finales when, especially on this map, finale tanks can be really hard to use, and of course would be best to put those in the hands of your best players.
Precisely. So Coach Dave's Academy is on the Survivor side with Team Yaeger Bagels on Special Infected. Early pull going out is going to get instantly cleared. Jockey does land with a Charger whiffing in the corner right there, and the Spitter, I do believe, did get picked. So only 12 damage going out for that first hit.
Yeah, Yaeger Bagels, they spawned a little bit early. Coach Dave's, I think we've seen this a couple times. Coach Dave's are playing really patiently, and they've managed to bait out a lot of hits from Yaeger Bagels.
Yeah, and that really does show a lot of Survivor coordination right there. Because the idea is to go forward, bait, try to get the SI to come at you when you can control where your movement's going. And if you can do that, you can shut down a lot of hits. Tank is going to be up into the hands of Pixie right here. 14 Yaeger Bagels, Smoker getting cleared, Boomer getting popped, Charger going in and getting melted. So how about we take it over to our first warm of the game and give it to Team Yaeger Bagels on these Special Infected.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Oh my god, I fucking hate you. Where did
It's
it go?
beyond the thing. It's beyond there.
Your hittable is behind the fence. I want you to throw that.
Do you think you can land this for her?
I'm gonna see if I
Get in the
can.
tree if you know how.
I'm just
Amethyst.
gonna push it in.
Alright.
I can't go for a pull because they're all just get stuck in the thing right now.
So Lupe is watching. Maybe you could pull Lupe and I'll drop on top of him over here. I can drop on top of Lexi right now. If you pull
want me?
Lupe. Yeah.
I have to
Fuck.
climb up, maybe.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to go in. Pixie going. Pixie going.
Okay, I'll keep going then. My hittables right by the thing, right?
Two boom.
I got a fork. He's next to the forklift.
Nice corner, dude.
Get out. What's up? Throw a rock. Yeah, you could get out. He's in a pretty shitty spot.
Yeah, if they try to pick him up, you know what to do. You have your eyes on it.
I'll just jump on him.
Big brain plays, boys.
They can shoot you there, by the way.
Yeah.
They're on the open. Boom the down guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna boom on David.
You guys should just get a hit.
Just try to keep sight. Not too much shift. You're just standing there.
All you have to do is maintain sight.
Archer, get closer because they might pick up.
I can spawn here where I'm at.
We'll get a hit. You can use the forklift.
Get a hit.
They're rotating.
Get a hit. There I lost.
I don't know about the hit, but here's second pass.
Nice,
Oh,
get
nice
out.
rock.
That is
Nice
Good
rock.
run. Dave is about to die. If you guard that pickup, we can kill him.
Yeah.
He's going in.
They're
He's
picking
going
up.
in.
They're picking up. Picking
Just
up.
drop on him.
Just drop him.
Hurry up.
Got it, big C.
Kill him. Behind you. Get him. Nice.
I tried, sorry.
It's okay.
I would have been there, but I accidentally fell off.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, from our first warm of the game. A tremendous amount of damage going out from that tank in the hands of Pixie, getting Asian cornered in a very, very unfortunate spot for his team. And he's going to be black and white, getting up right now. Great decision by the tank to jump in there, get a rock, get back out, let support do work. And this is what I was kind of talking about here, Hollywood. They're in rough shape on the Survivor side.
Absolutely, an early tank. While this is a pretty rough spot to make anything happen, the Boomer landed a crucial stumble onto Asian, and Pixie played that tank beautifully. She got the corner onto Asian in a really bad spot. She was able to camp him and, let her supports do the majority of the work and just zone off the survivors every time they tried to get him up. She landed a great rock onto Ellis when he was in that little gazebo area with the, the knock the pins down game or whatever that's thing called. And I mean, this is a huge amount of damage very early on a map where, typically that doesn't really happen.
Exactly. I mean, and at this stage in the game, they could have maybe played for a kill on Asian or something like that, but that boom horde got cleared, and now the survivors are all bleeding, getting double capped right here, as a matter of fact, with a rolling tri-cap with that jockey intercepting on the black and white Asian as the pull on Lecky in the back went out. That's a tremendous amount of damage on an already beaten up survivor team. And right now, they're lucky if they make that ladder, I would say, with everyone still alive. They need to find pills. Asian's black and white, so he's pushing as fast as he possibly can before he goes slow. And this has just been a tremendous special infected round by Yaeger Bagels, making something out of an area that doesn't do a whole lot, and then keeping their hits coordinated. And Lupe is at 1 health in the back on the survivor side for Coach Dave's Academy, so at this point, he could go down really at any time.
Absolutely, Yaeger Bagels are really pulling it together. I think that tank has almost changed something within the team. I mean, Coach Dave's, I think the panic of, having their star player, in a way, getting in-capped and, cornered in a really bad spot, they're sort of showing a little bit of impatience, which was previously one of their strengths. They were doing such a good job of baiting out Yaeger Bagels hits, and now they are, solidly the victim of these hits.
Yeah, this is dangerous here, too, because as Lupe has made his way up here, there's still been people bleeding out. Asian's going to get proxied right there. and then there's going to be a Charger Jockey and a Hunter. This is very, very wipeable at this stage. Like, if these survivors go down here and spread out just a little bit too much, one scratch on the coach will do it. And that's going to be a charge going out on him, actually, instead of that scratch down. Hunter going in, well, landing. Aging going to get jockeyed forward as well. Into the Horde. Going to get cleared, but not before almost dying from that hit. He's down to 6 HP black and white. And now we're going to have Lupe black and white as well. Survivors don't wipe there, however, so they're going to keep trying to roll and get as many distance points as possible.
Absolutely. No devastating multi-charge. I think that Charger made a bit of a misplay when he decided to charge Coach and rather than just, scratch and then try and get another target. Regardless, I mean, the survivors right now, they are on their last legs, so to speak. Like you said, they've got 2 survivors, black and white. They've got no pills with them. This is really bad for them at such an early stage in the match.
Yeah, so Aiden's at 1 black and white, so he's dead. Lupe is at 20 HP around black and white, and the other 2 survivors haven't taken downs yet, but are each about 1 scratch away from an in cap, and they managed to push their way up the ladder right here. Smoker's going to get a pull, does get cleared. Charger going in, going to get shut down. Jockey goes in and gets a double scratch out on these survivors, also falling on the Coach right there, who is going to get pulled, and that is going to be the wipe on Coach Dave's Academy. Only turning 84 points right here on the second map of Dark Carnival. Spectacular special and infected round by Team Yaeger Bagels, and now it's going to be on Coach Dave's Academy to respond in turn with a tank that sometimes can go one way or the other very, very fast. And I'd also like to note that there were a couple of hittables the tank could have brought in, but the tank really didn't need them from what we saw last half.
Hey, check it out, man.
Yeah, when we, as we were switching over to the infected war room, I mean, Pixie was working her forklift in. She got a really unfortunate punch, and it landed, like, way out of the way under some tents, and she still tried to move it in, but then she just said, screw it. I'm just gonna, let my eyes die, like, we're just gonna do something. And I really like that play. I mean, I think one of the biggest mistakes I see in these competitive games is tanks trying way too hard to, work their hittables in. Sometimes, no matter how good you are, the hittables just don't cooperate with you. They bounce weird. They get stuck between poles and whatnot. And, sometimes you just got to say, screw it. I'm just going to trust my team.
Exactly, and we are live with the second half of this second chapter right here, and we've got Yaeger Bagels on the survivor side now with a Spitter, a Jockey, Charger, and a Smoker for the SI hit. And Team Yaeger Bagels are going to actually bait this out a little bit, and all the SI are pre-spawning. So at this stage, when the survivors try to rush out, they're going to catch all the SI to the face. We do have that nice double cap going out, and we do have a full charge spit landing onto Archer with the death spit going down top of that as well, and the smoke. That's a good amount of damage on that first hit.
Absolutely, that's a lot of damage onto Archer, and if Yaeger Bagels definitely misplayed there, they were doing a good job of baiting, and then for whatever reason, they just kind of waltzed right out there and walked right into the infected arms. They need to keep their heads cool. They did some great work as infected, but they don't want to give Coach Dave's Academy the same opportunity.
Exactly, and the tank is going to be up for Coach Dave's Academy into the hands of Lupe right here as that boomer gets popped. Let's take it over to our first Coach Dave Academy war room of this tournament.
Absolutely.
Let's just get a regular hit.
Okay. You ready?
Lexi, you ready? Yeah, let's go. Nice. No. Nice.
Get him. Off. Oh, that's close.
Rotate to the right. Rotate. No. Is there a way to get over? Is there a way to get on top? Oh, there isn't.
There.
Take your time on that boom. It needs to land.
At least one, even if it has to be like right here.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Where is this fine?
Yeah. So whenever you see it.
Alright, go other way. Go.
Good job.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's good. Let's go. Oh, fuck. Get Pixie. Oh, nice. Go for Jockey. Just go. Oh, that's fun.
That guy might die.
Archer's gonna die.
Take this one.
Hunter kill Archer.
Trying.
Nice.
Oh, I got clear.
It's nice. Good shit. Woo. Good thing.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Lupe's tank getting the wipe right there. A single boom once again, landing early. Multi-caps going out. Tank getting juked out just for a second, but nailing that wipe. Getting so many punches, doing a great job doing the survivors out. I am so pumped. That was exactly what Team Coach Dave's Academy needed to respond in that spot. We caster curse them, said that tank doesn't do a whole lot of damage. One team almost dies, and the other team actually does die at that location. Spectacular special infected play that chapter.
Absolutely. Once again, we saw Lupe trying to work that forklift in. You know, he made a really long punch on that forklift, and it was basically lost. But you know, he kept his head cool. His special infected came through on him, and they just did a tremendous. I mean, that tank, I think. Yaeger Bagels was playing that correctly. They were, you know, pushing him into that tent area. They were trying to chip him out, and then, you know, Lupe's specials absolutely came through for him. They got some critical, you know, delays and stumbles onto them, and Lupe did work that round.
Yeah, and the survivors had a moment there to kite that tank around, but there was one survivor, I think, who was trying to clear that jockey and just not being able to get much of anything on that. And meanwhile, the tank was just having free reign, trying to chase the other survivors, zone them out, spread the damage, trying to get down. And at that stage, when a tank is in a situation like that, the survivor team needs to almost focus them. And now Coach Dave's Academy, after not doing as well on the survivor side last round, have a chance to rebound with this momentum thanks to their special infected play. Charger, Smoker, Hunter, Boomer for this first hit for the Yaeger Bagels.
Yeah, and like we said before, the Yaeger Bagels, they had a great tank as well. They followed up with some really great specials, but I think, you know, they lost their head. When that tank went in, Sheep did some good jukes on the tank, but then crucially, like, I think forgot or just didn't have time to take his pills, and the tank was able to get another down onto him, and that's when everything fell apart. Regardless, we do have the Hunter going in from the back, a Charger briefly landing, Hunter briefly landing. The Smoker wasn't able to get a pull, it's probably going to get picked right now. We do have the Boomer getting a proxy onto Nick and to Ellis.
Exactly. I mean, and at this stage in the game, first hit like that with the Boomer, not going to get a massive amount unless you've got that multi-tap going. They have the Boomer die last, and we'll probably be able to get one more hit before the tank is up. It's going to be up in the hands of Amethyst for Team Yaeger Bagels when they push into this Swan Room. And another tank, again, that can go really, really wrong based on the survivor misplays usually, if the SI can take advantage of that. But if Team Coach Dave's Academy can shut this tank down in this room, they could see themselves making it to this poster event with a great amount of health, maybe only taking an in-cap or two. They are facing a quad cap, however, for the Yaeger Bagels. The Hunter, Charger, and a Smoker. So, again, I haven't seen, and this is, it feels though at this point everything we say might be like a potential caster jinx, but I haven't seen a massive amount of quad caps land in recent memory. We do have a pull going out in the back right there. Hunter gets shut down. Charger lagging a little bit going in, and then is going to get killed. Hunter bouncing around as well, going to land onto Nick, and the reason for that, I would say, is because quad caps take a spectacular amount of special infected coordination to land.
Absolutely. I mean, quad caps in such an enclosed area, those are theoretically good for infected, but the issue is that, you know, when all the survivors are hugging those corners and stuff like that, it's really hard for that Charger to do anything. We saw him run in there and, you know, try to get a charge. I think he was trying to get that sort of like scoop onto the first survivor that was around that corner and missing it. So the survivors, you know, that pull got a nice bit of separation, but then the other specials were not able to follow up. Regardless, we do have a tank up in the hands of Amethyst. We're going to see what he can make happen with this.
Exactly, and I think they're debating right now on SI whether or not to throw that Boomer, but instead of speculating about what they're doing, how about we listen to it and send it over to our second team at Yaeger Bagels Worm of the game.
Sure thing, let's go.
Just going to pull him.
Alright, here we go. I'm going in, ready?
Take the smoked guy.
I have one pulled over here. Over here, Amethyst. Nice. Nice. I almost have my pull up. Ready, Charger? Oh.
Keep them rocks. The rocket Nick.
David's almost dead.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Nice chalking.
Nice, Rock.
Nice.
Good, dude. Really good.
Dave's
Good
gonna
damage.
die. Wait, Pixie, scratch, scratch Dave. Hurry up.
Go, go, go. Yes!
Nice.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We kept it in there a little bit while longer because I wanted to see if those survivors were going to die, and indeed they did. 2 kills going out at the generator room tank from that tank in the hands of Amethyst. Brilliant special infected play. Smoker pull into a double boom as the tank was rotating around that top. After that, it was absolute pandemonium. Nick ran into the tank up top a little bit too. Wow, he was worried. That tank did so much work with so little health, and another stunning special infected play coming out right here. We have just seen a few survivor mistakes, Hollywood, that are going to be very, very interesting in the scope of this game.
Absolutely, Yaeger Bagels, they managed a brilliant play in an area that is not really that tank friendly. Regardless, we do have a charger smoke coming out. The charger gets cleared. I mean, the smoker gets cleared. The jockey goes in, gets mowed down. Oh, the charger does manage to get to land, although there will be no spit, but the spitter is going to land some scratches. Unfortunately, Ellis is held up by a lot of comments. This is so much damage.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, Lupe and Lecky just trying to push their way as far as they can. You know, we've seen momentum shift after momentum shift, 3 in total, really, in the past 3 maps. Smoker going for a pull onto Lecky, not landing. Ellis is going to push the Smoker back as well, but at this stage, this is almost guaranteed to be a wipe. Boomer going out onto Lupe as well, and honestly, you know, as we see Lecky trying to fight off these SI, getting a double M2 right there, and also clearing the Smoker before eventually getting jockeyed by that aforementioned jockey. You know, in that room, the one thing that you just cannot deal with effectively sometimes is Boomer Horde, and we say that about almost every tank, but specifically in zone mod, U-mod conflicts of that variety, those boom hordes are absolutely deadly. So even when the 2 boom cleared off the survivors and they could see again after not being vomit blinded, the common are going to disperse over the rest of the survivors and still be coming in if people aren't focusing them. So dealing with horde plus a tank plus SI support that didn't die at the same time, that is disastrous in a space like that.
Absolutely, and I think another thing that's important to mention, I mean, once again, Coach Dave's star player, Asian, was in-capped first. He got cornered in a really bad spot, and the team, you know, like, I don't want to say fell apart, but they really, I think they kind of panicked. I mean, we saw a lot of weird mistakes, Nick walking into that tank in the middle of the horde, and I think these tanks, you know, they're getting some really smart corners. They're in-capping these survivors in places that, you know, allow for the infected to make a lot more happen. They can, you know, delay the survivors and they can zone them off.
Yeah, and, you know, when things go haywire like that, and people are mentioning a little bit in chat, too, that Asian got down first couple of times, you know, early last map, early this map. There's some targeting, I'm sure, that goes into that, but also then the rest of the team has to find a way to make up for it. This hit is getting melted, meanwhile, that Hunter getting shut down, Smoker getting cleared, Boomer getting popped. Yaeger Bagels have UZ'd themselves up for this tank, and honestly, it rests on a Boomer pop in a lot of ways, because you can try to get a 3 cap, but again, the tank landing a lot of damage on its own in that area is not quite common. But when you have one player down that early in a tank fight, Hollywood, that swings the balance heavily into the infection's favor.
Absolutely. When the tank can get a survivor cornered in an area where he can easily camp him and, you know, prevent the survivors, you know, threatening more punches if they try to get him up, that is absolutely crucial in a tank fight. And when it happens that early, like you said, I mean, the advantage shifts rapidly to the infected.
We do have a hit with a Hunter, Charger, Smoker, and a Spitter up 14. Coach Dave's Academy trying to get a little bit more damage out here if they can get all survivors down to maybe 4 punches, or trying to get something close to an in-cap prior to this tank. But we see the baiting going out by Dr. Sheep at the front here with that shotgun. And at this rate, you know, if the survivors play this well enough and they shut this hit down, they can get into good position and then just leave it down to spawn blocking and making sure that they can fight that tank around, playing it very, very slowly at this point, however. Hunter's starting to work his way in, going for the whole target, and that's going to be a eventual pounce down onto Ellis, and the Smoker actually gives Ellis God frames right there, so not the maximum amount of damage they were looking for.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate misplay by Coach Dave Survivor, and Yaeger Bagels are playing this extremely cautiously. I mean, like you said, they're trying to avoid any unnecessary damage before they face this tank. They're understandably, I mean, I think they realize that, you know, after they got a great tank, Coach Dave's responded with an even better one, and I think they're well aware that this could happen here. They don't want to risk throwing another possibility at a lead when they had such a great one in the last map.
Exactly, and the tank is up into the head of the academy himself, David, aka Asian. Boomer gets popped. Let's take it over to a Coach Dave's Academy Worm and see what he can do on this pivotal tank.
Absolutely. Let's see if Asian can get some revenge for that early in cap.
Reloading.
Ooh, not bad.
Reloading.
Just pull towards me like they did.
Yeah.
Wait, ready? Go. He's on.
Reloading.
Fuck.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, from that tank in the hands of David, aka Asian himself, getting a singular in cap plus a couple of other punches out onto the Yaeger Bagels right there. But we saw a little bit of miscommunication early, I think, because he was pushing Nick off the side over there when the smoker pulled into that corner, and the tank was absolutely nowhere near it to take that corner in the same place that Asian got cornered on the last half, Hollywood.
Yeah, Coach Dave's was not able to make the same magic happen as Yaeger Bagels did, and Yaeger Bagels, they did get a single in cap, but I think all in all, they played that tank, you know, that was pretty much textbook, you know, tank fighting for the survivors. That was, you know, really good synergy. They almost got held up by those double hunters, but they were able to just mow that tank down with their 3 Suzies.
Exactly. I mean, and once that smoker died, then the survivors were able to kite the tank around long enough to keep shooting him to the point where once he even did get that corner, it was kind of a non-issue. We do have a hit coming in here right now, however. Jockey and Charter both fighting down below for a double cap with a spit going out on top of that. Lots of damage. Smoker gets a pull onto Ellis as well, and that Jockey still hasn't cleared a huge amount of damage on that post-drop hit. Oh my goodness, almost a rolling 3 cap actually heading out there. Now that's the damage they were looking for.
My goodness, I mean, I think we saw this in the last map too. Yaeger Bagels, they were playing extremely well, and then they got a little bit too confident. Regardless, they are gonna crown that witch with no problem at all. No specials around to help her out, but we do have a charger going out onto Ellis. He gets held up by the door. Jockey goes onto Ellis, gets M2'd. This charger is still struggling to reach Ellis.
Oh, we got the charge, but then does get cleared. Jockey trying to go in as well. This is a very aggressive call right now from Team Coach Dave's Academy, because that was the hit you probably would want to see on the coaster choke. They were going for damage, maybe a little bit of a post-witch thing, and now they actually might be kind of screwed with a 2-2 if they get unlucky on this. It's gonna be real close, because I also would like to mention that in UMod, you cannot hold this event out, so the survivors are gonna have to take this choke. It's a 2-2, yeah.
That was, you know, I think that was a really big misplay. I mean, they had a Charger Smoker. That's like the dream for the coaster, because you can do some really devastating hits here. But we are going to have a Hunter going in, gets heated. Jockey goes in, gets heated. That spit, there was no damage. There was nothing for that spitter to spit on. And yeah, Yaeger Bagels is going to take this coaster fairly well. And I think they've just avoided a lot of damage potentially.
Yeah, and now that's the problem, because when you gamble with a hit like that, they're banking on maybe Charger dying first, maybe getting another okay hit for it, but that initial coaster choke is probably the most deadly out of all of the coaster chokes here. They do have a pretty good hit for it now, though. Charger spawning up here, but the rest of the SI haven't quite gone in. Charger going for the free charge, going to get cleared right there. Smoker trying to go in as well. Jockey M2 and shut down, and I think that was a little bit of discombobulation on the special infected side of things. Smoker going for a repull onto Nick. In the back is going to get the ledge hang, actually. So this is going to cause a little bit more mayhem for the survivors. But they took those last 2 hits extremely well. That charger was pre-spawned a little bit up top, because I think they were trying to get the survivors to come close for a bowling charge. But unfortunately, the survivors were able to back up and just shut that entire hit down. This is a pretty good hit, though.
Yeah, they've got another charge spit to work with and another smoker to...
Oh, Nick's up top!
The smoker gets the last pull onto Nick again.
Oh, they're going to clear the tongue, but nothing else is there to capitalize. That was almost a death on to Pixie. It's a charger, boomer, and a spinner going in. Charger going to land a nice double charge right there. I have never seen someone get knocked up to where Dr. Sheep is right now. This game continues to impress me. I'm not sure why we play it, and he's on top of that coaster thing, trying to clear from up there. I think he might take fall damage. No, he'll be able to drop back onto that, but that was almost an in cap or a near in cap. He slid it down that, I'm pretty sure. Nevertheless, 2 in caps are going to go out on the team. Yaeger Bagels right there. These hits by Coach James Academy went from nothing to essentially hitting a home run with a full count because of the damage they did on that last hit, and it's not over yet. Hunter's going to go in and pounce the down guy. Boomer and a Charger in the spawn queue for the next hit, and because of these short spawn timers, this is kind of the thing you can see. Charger's going to jump in, going for L. It's going to land in the corner over there. Archer doing his best to clear, but this is devastating damage on the Team Yaeger Bagels right now.
Of course, they've got 3 charges in a row, and they've made pretty good use of them after they missed, like you said, one of the deadliest chokes in this map. They are making do. They're using these short respawn timers. We've got a pull onto Rochelle. I don't think there's anyone near her to clear her. They're going to try and... The in-caps are...
That's a wipe.
Oh my goodness. That's a wipe. That's it.
That is insane. You have Yaeger Bagels acing the tank, taking an in-cap and a couple punches. You have them ace the first hit on the coaster choke because of the SI's decision to send in the hit beforehand. You have them acing the hit after that when they get up the next incline, and then they just fall apart. Because, I mean, that spot, like, reminds me of, like, after the event on Parish Map 2 when there's still Horde, because the SI spawns are all around you, and it's easy for survivors to get common locked by really just the game's volition instead of the special infecteds. And at that stage, they probably had, like, between... like at least 300 or 400 bonus plus the distance points there. They could have blown this game wide open if that hadn't happened.
Absolutely. Just before they started landing those incredible, hits right after the big incline. I mean, I was about to point out that I think Coach Daves was being way too aggressive, trying to capitalize on that, drop hit way too hard. And then they pulled through anyways. I think both teams are, playing almost like a little bit faster than they can think, in a manner of speaking. They're getting emboldened by their successes, and then they're just sort of getting smacked down by their own ambition. I mean, every single time something seems to go well for them, they overextend, and then the next team just punishes them so spectacularly.
That was poetic. I really liked that. They were emboldened, and then they were eventually, handicapped by their own aspirations, right?
Something like that we can
Dude,
watch later.
Hollywood's a poet. I'm gonna have to go figure that shit out on my own, because that was a perfect example of actually what was happening right there. Because when teams have something, that's the problem. After one good thing happens on either Survivor or Infected, it's then easy to kind of lose track of everything else, and that's how a team who's behind can make that comeback, if they're able just to not give up, try to keep the momentum, don't get defeated, and find a way to make those kind of plays. It is going to be Team Yaeger Bagels on the Survivor side and Team Coach James Academy on the Special Infected. Hit is coming out right now. Nice double cap going out, almost a 3 cap, but that Charger did get melted. Pretty quick clear on to Nick right there as well, and this tech's going to be at 55% with the Witch at 38. I am so excited for this Hollywood. It's been a back and forth game, momentum versus momentum, and they've got 2 more chapters to figure out who's going to win this one.
Absolutely. Just like the last match I cast on this, the last match I cast on the same map, it was such a nail-biter. The momentum was shifting back and forth, and we're seeing the same thing here. I mean, these teams are neck and neck. I think the point difference between them is about 100 points, maybe a bit more, 140, and it's such a pleasure to watch.
Yaeger Bagels on the Survivor side and Team Coach Dave's Academy on SI. We have a hit with the Boomer, Hunter, Jockey, and a Charger that I mentioned before on top of this building. And the Survivors are starting to push their way forward. Hunter did free spawn. Boomer gets a nice arc boom from behind the fence there. Hunter lands. Charger looking to take that Hunter pin that got cleared, but actually whipping it on to Dr. Sheep. He's able to kite out of that, and at this point the Survivors are going to tank this forward and then try to actually get to the tank without a whole lot more incident after they kill the Witch.
Absolutely. We do have the Witch up. She is sitting right in front of between the tent and the dumpster. Looks like we're going to have a Charger try and take advantage of that. Pre-spawned a bit early. We do have a Smoker going, trying to get that pull onto Ellis. They do get the aggro on her. Oh my goodness.
That is gonna be a pin going out by that Witch on to Dr. Sheep, who did fail that crown, actually almost dying from the witch swipes right there. Difference from Ace mod is that in this U mod, it's the Pro mod witch, so it's a single swipe down with every single failed crown attempt. And the tank for Team Coach Dave's Academy is going to be up into the hands of Amaryllis right here. Survivor's not able to take the room. This is a pivotal tank. Boomer does get a single boom. Let's take it over to a special infected worm and see how they play this out.
Absolutely.
They're going back.
That's fine. That's fine. Just keep pushing them.
Huh?
Nice.
Just keep going. You have hitables behind.
Nice, you get some
Get down. Get down.
Fucking bad.
Nice.
Stay alive.
Nice. Get on top. Get on top. Get on top. Yeah, you get on top. Get on top. Nice. Corner them. No. Wait. Just wait. Perfect. Protect your smoker. Just wait for the pickup. Just wait. We're in the better spot. Are they gonna sacrifice him? Wait, just.
You have
We have another pass.
They're,
We have
I think
another
they're
pass.
leaving.
Nice.
Yeah, they're leaving.
Wait. Let's make sure this guy dies. Wait, let's make sure this guy dies.
Yeah. They're going all the way back. They're going all the way back.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Go punch the go punch the down guy. Go punch the down guy. Get some more rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah. Get those edibles in. That's a good hit. Wait, that's a good hit. Oh! That almost hit! That's a good hit. Those are both in perfect spots. Okay. Don't focus your hittables, just go for punches, to be honest. We'll help you early.
You guys ready?
Pull Pixie. Go in.
It's all. Right here. Oh, so close.
Get that down, just get that down. Nice, get out.
Good job. That's good. Good job.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The theme of this game, in some ways so far, it's happened at least one time per map on tanks, is having a survivor stuck in a place, both maps 2, map 3, and map 4 now, with Dr. Sheep getting killed off earlier there, in a terrible spot for their teammates to deal with. That was a gutsy call, I would say, by the survivors to run back like that when a hit was up, and they were transitioning out of that area where the boomer horde was, instead of forcing the tank to play dumpsters, because that smoker was able to get that pullback tank out of rock, got the corner, and that's a death. Which at this point opens up the potential for a tri-cap wipe. Jockey getting M2 shut down, Charter going in for a charge spit, landing in the corner onto Rochelle with death spit on top of that as well. Good amount of damage going out, but at this point that again, Hollywood, presents an opportunity for Coach Dave's Academy to swing this back in their favor if they can stop the rest of Team Yaeger Bagels before the safe room.
Yeah, those were some, really strange calls, from my perspective by the survivors. Regardless, they did get that early kill. Sheep was stuck, cornered in a terrible spot, and Coach Dave has a charger to work with, a charger and a smoker to work with on these rooftops, but looks like they're going to wait for the survivors to make it all the way to the last bit of this ladder drop area.
Yeah, at this point, the special infected are probably going to be trying to send this quad in when the survivors drop, again using the height advantage of these spawns to do the most work possible. They're going to have the 4-on-3 situation right here, kind of the power play that they're looking for. The other thing, too, is that when you have a 3-cap opportunity, obviously they have a quad cap opportunity here, but when you have that, you don't want to make it just all about trying to go for the quad. You just want to kind of hit normally sometimes as well. We do have that pull going out. Hunter landing as well. Smoker does not have the repull yet to make that the tri-cap. Lots of damage onto Rochelle. They got the jockey for a second too. But again, at this stage, you know, you might be saying they have to tri-cap and tri-cap. And it's like hit normally, and hopefully through that, your hits will be coordinated enough to just get the tri-cap on their own. The survivors need to be very, very careful now with the amount of port coming in as well.
Yeah, like you noted just a second ago, I think when the infected get quad caps like that on, you know, a quad cap for 3 survivors, it can be really tempting to try a little bit too hard to get that, you know, the full wipe. They, you know, I think each SI was playing a little too, you know, like with their blinders on, they were focusing too much on their individual hits, not on, you know, separation, distractions, the typical SI hits. Regardless, Yaeger Bagels are taking a ton of damage on this most recent hit, get a lot of common damage, but they are going to truck on through, moving through this horde.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they actually might be able to make the safe room if team, the Coach Dave's Academy, isn't careful. They're pushing forward, but they do have one survivor slow. So Boomer, Jockey, Smoker, and one other spawn coming into queue in a second right here. They're going to try to push their way to the side, so they do have the 3 caps. Once again, Boomer is going to land onto Nick in the back right there. Survivors try to play this as positionally smart as possible. Jockey is going to get shut down, though Charter hits the intercept, and Rochelle is going to be left to try and clear these SI pins as they go out, but that is going to be the end cap onto Nick. And so at this point, they're going to have another spawn in the hands of David coming up in a couple of seconds, trying to fight these Common off, and the Common are actually still hitting Nick. While Nick is down, Spit's going to go in as well, going to almost in-cap Coach and doing a lot more damage onto Nick. The Hunter is up as well, running in, getting the kill onto Nick, pouncing around, landing on a Coach. Boomer has spawned up, gets a double boom right here. Coach is 1 hit away from being in-capped, and this Hunter is in as well. Archer going to be left to try to clear all this out and does get down before the safe room. That's the kind of special infected they were looking for on the side of Coach Dave's Academy, holding Team Yaeger Bagels to 508 points, and now the comeback potential is right in front of them with still 1 map to play on the finale.
Yeah, just like I was saying, you know, when they had that quad cap, they tried a little too hard to get the wipe. The next hit, they played beautifully. They got, you know, exactly the separation and then the distraction. When that jockey landed and started pulling that survivor away, and then Coach went to go help him, and the charger, you know, struck perfectly. Got him into a corner, and then all of the following was just brilliant. They got the delay with the spit, and the Hunter not even bothering to pounce, just getting that M2 and downing Asian.
Okay, so I do believe this is Dr. Sheep's tank, aka Yaki. I've been calling him Dr. Sheep the entire time because that is his name. And indeed it is. So he's gonna have a chance, I should say, or some room to make up a little bit of that situation that happened on Survivor when he got killed early, you know. And for Coach Dave's Academy, they have a couple choices. They can either try to push that room, they can try to fight him back outside, they can try to run back and make sure that all survivors have pills so they don't accidentally wipe or have one person die. But I would be surprised to see them try the same strategy, actually. I think they're going to try to fight it, you know, at that picnic bench area instead.
Yeah, that would be my call. Obviously, that was a really ballsy move to take it all the way back to the safe room area with the hit up. Regardless, we do have a Smoker in the tree, going for the pull, gets cleared. Charger gets mowed down. The Smoker gets the repull onto Rochelle, and the jockey lands on the Coach. That's, you know, decent bit of damage, but not quite as much. Actually, I should say that actually was a bit more than what Coach Davis was able to do.
Yeah, and at this stage of the game, you know, Coach Dave's Academy, they've had a couple good Survivor rounds, but then also they haven't, like, you know, Map 2 was unfortunate for them, Map 3 was unfortunate for them, Map 1 they were actually leading with like a 900-point game. But when you have a game that's going back and forth like this, where the Survivor teams aren't playing pristinely, it's about being able to hold together and ignore the fact that they had a couple of bad rounds and try to make this map with as much bonus as they can to make this a non-issue almost by finale. That's going to be tough, though, with the way that Yaeger Bagels Special Infected has been playing to this point. They're going to have a Charger, Boomer, Jockey, and a Hunter in the spawn queue for this hit.
Yeah, and Yaeger Bagels are looking to hit them right as they exit this bumper car area, which is, I think, the better area. This area is a lot smaller compared to where Coach Dave's tried to hit them once they had already exited through these bushes and onto this green dumpster. We do have a Hunter pre-spawn, and looks like they're going to come outside. Boomer lands a great arc boom. We got the Hunter going in, lands, and the Hunter lands onto Rochelle. And the jockey landing onto Ellis. Slightly staggered hits, but that's a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, that was almost a hitman going out right there. That jockey had been able to land that cap, but again, without the spitter, they were not able to maximize the damage potential on the special infected side of things without obviously landing a multi-cap at the almost exact same time. It looks as though Asian is pushing this witch, going to run up and nail her in the back right there to make that a non-issue. So this is already a lot better position for them as opposed to what happened to Yaeger Bagels, solely because they were able to get that witch out of the way, and now they should be able to do pretty much whatever they want for this. And I'll bet you right now they're debating if the SI send a hit to push into that barn room.
Absolutely, they're in a really precarious position. They missed an opportunity with the witch, and if the survivors play this right, they may be able to take the weapons room with this pill on the table when the tank is up, and that's a much preferable area to fight the tank, I believe, than where Yaeger Bagels was forced to fight.
The other thing is that they are at exactly 55% right now, so the SI are waiting to send this hit on tank spawn. We know that the hunter is going to become the tank, and the survivors have actually pushed their way laterally all the way into this barn area. This can be very dangerous depending on where the boomer and the rest of the hit are set up. The tank is going to be up right now into the hands of Yaki, aka Dr. Sheep. We have this pull going out, going to get cleared. Let's take it over to a team Yaeger Bagel Special Infected Worm and see what he can pull off.
Absolutely.
Rock. OMG. Hittables are out.
You're gonna commit on that? Because I think you should.
Same. The horde's coming in now.
Yeah, 2 boom horde.
I don't know what we're doing.
Get ready to help him, guys. Nice.
Oh yeah, hittables right there.
He's hittable,
Oh, nice work.
Come this way.
Yes, nice.
If you can stay alive long enough.
Stay alive. Pixie, you have to go in quick here.
Got him here? Got him here? Oh.
Come on your
I wanted to try to kill Lupe.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We see Ellis going down in literally the exact same spot. However, no deaths going out. Hell of a tank by Dr. Sheep. Great capitalization from his SI support. We saw a late jockey stumble there into a rock, into another punch. No pills left now for Coach Dave's Academy. That is what they needed. Obviously, they could have shot for the wipe, but that's a great ability by the special infected team to not get dissuaded by that momentum shift once again and get a lot of damage coming out on that tank.
Absolutely. Yaeger Bagels are showing a lot of coordination when it comes to these tank fights. The specials are always there where the tank needs it. Regardless, we do have, oh goodness, I think Hunter getting skied and a jockey getting shut down. If I heard correctly, I wasn't unfortunately watching. We do have a charger going in, landing onto Nick that will be in spit. That's a good amount of damage for an unexpected hit right there.
Exactly. I mean, and at this stage, you know, Coach Dave's Academy, they're probably going to be able to almost equal, I would say, just the distance points or the total score of what Team Yaeger Bagels got for this chapter. We saw some late hittables being employed right there back on that tank fight, as well as the survivors doing a good job of kiting out of an initial boom horde, but then they got pushed into an unfortunate area where, again, a survivor got down in a non-ideal location, and that is why they are faced with one survivor slow right now in terms of Nick, plus another survivor having just committed the last set of pills. Arc Boom does land onto Nick, however, with a Charger, Jockey, and a Smoker for the rest of the hit for the Yaeger Bagels. Probably going to go in on this drop as well.
Yeah, unfortunately for Yaeger Bagels, there are 4 survivors, not 3, the way they were in the same position. Regardless, the Jockey's going to go in. Smoke lands onto Ellis, gets jockeyed, and then charged. Smoker gets the repull onto Rochelle. It's a decent amount of damage. All of the survivors are slow. That's going to make this last Horde event a real struggle for Coach Dave's.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're going to push forward right now, and as a matter of fact, if they were just to die right here, and this especially on UMod /ProMod, you know, whatever config you want to bring up before finite hordes were introduced, this is a struggle to get through if survivors aren't fast. And actually, all 4 survivors are going to be slow for it. But if they were to die right here, this would be a ridiculously close game going into the finale. And they're probably going to get even closer based on these distance points. But, I mean, if your team Yaeger Bagels at this stage, you know, you just be patient with it, let the survivors bleed out the entire way. The horde is not going to end, so they're eventually going to be forced forward. And if they can get the wipe here and still maintain a slight lead, that'll be a good moral victory before what promises to be a freaking insane finale.
Absolutely. Yaeger Bagels' infected play has been great. They need to stay focused and play as they've been playing before. Focus on the separation, end of the tractions just like this. We've got to pull on the coach and charge onto Nick. That coach pull is now in spit. That's going to be a ton of damage. Ellis is also down. This is just what they need. They're wasting their time and they're letting those survivors bleed out and putting them in bad situations.
Yeah, I think they're actually going to be able to get these pickups though. Ellis is going to get back up and coach does have a Magnum. That came into play a little bit on the tank as well, where he was able to mag that tank even though he was in-capped around a corner. And now, Coach Abe's Academy, they have 2 survivors that are going to be almost a scratch from being down with both Dade and Amaryllis at that health marker, I should say. Boomer does get popped. Jockey Hunter Spitter for the rest of this hit. This is going to be so close, but they are indeed going to take the lead with those witch points as they continue working their way through. They do take an in-cap right there, Spick going in, but Ellis jumps on top of the dumpster before going a little bit further forward here to keep clearing that common, and then Agent actually goes down as well.
Yeah, Coach Dave's, I mean, they're crawling to the safe and trying to get as many points as they can. They're playing brilliantly, however. They're baiting out these hits, and Yaeger Bagels are struggling to make this, to get any kind of wipe going.
Yeah, I mean, and now there's a Smoker, Charger, Boomer, and a Spitter with a death going out onto Ellis right there. Repull going out. Charger is going to land. Smoker Pole is going to go out. There's your double charge, and that should indeed be the wipe being pushed out into Coach Dave's Academy. And we are going to the finale with a score of 1,986 to 1,946, a 40-point game going into the Dark Carnival finale. Wow. We've had some close games in this tournament so far. First round of the MavWar Unity Hype Tournament 2018, but this one is living up to the hype, no pun intended, and this is where the early tanks are going to really come into play, depending on who gets them and what exactly they can do. Again, I'm going to say it as just a disclaimer. I'm not sure if there's a tank balance thingy put into place where the players of corresponding levels get that, but if so, if not, it's down to what can the teams do to capitalize in these kind of situations. This early tank is so crucially important, especially because in this, I do believe it's the zone mod. Actually, is that true? Yeah, I think it is the zone mod point progression where it goes up to 600 points before that second tank. So at this stage, Coach Dave's Academy does have a pretty, important cushion, I would say, just because they're ahead. If they manage to make that second tank, then they're guaranteed 2 tanks to try and kill Yaeger Bagels, if that's the way this goes.
Absolutely. This is an enclosed area, but it's hard to get any sort of hittable in there. Like we've been saying before, and then proceeding to sort of get that commentator's curse onto these teams, every area that's been sort of tank unfriendly ends up being a devastating tank fight for both teams. So we're going to see if the trend continues here. We've got Yaeger Bagels have a double hunter, a jockey, and a spitter ready, and Coach Daves is gradually making their way out of the safe and trying to bait out this hit.
Indeed, we do have the tank coming up as this hit goes in. We have Hunters landing on to David in the corner with a spit on that. Hunter going for repounce as well, and the tank is up once again into the hands of Yaki, aka Dr. Sheep, for Team Yaeger Bagels, and we are not going to waste any time. Let's send it over to that Yaeger Bagels special infected worm and see how they play it.
Absolutely. Sheep's got another shot to get this wipe.
Are you okay?
No hittable, I guess.
You had time for it. Anyway.
Too far.
What do you want, a boomer or a tri-cap?
Boomer is ideal. Get rid of the hunter. Hurry up.
Stone sight.
Reloading.
You can't come from the bathroom? Wow.
Reloading.
Nice one for you.
Nice pull. I think it's 2,500 and you can go. Let's
Go
go.
get Lexi, get Lexi.
Lexi, Lexi. Good shit.
It's just Lupe.
Nice.
Nice rock.
Lupe's coming to clear. God damn you, Lupe. Into anymore.
You're gonna have to boom them, Pixie. No, no, no. The guy's coming out. The guy's coming out.
Nice.
I'm gonna try to smoke one of them.
Go now.
Alright guys, watch this. Oh.
You guys can get 2 cap. You guys can 2 cap.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That charger does get cleared. Nick is almost dead. Jockey and Smoker up. Insta-pull does go out, but the clear does go out as well. A tremendous amount of damage being pushed out by Dr. Sheep on that tank with his special infected support. That was so unfortunate because that tank, that Smoker got cleared early, and then there was a double cap in the back. And I think Asian was trying to go and clear them, and he accidentally cornered himself by getting pressed into the under part of that overhang next to the American Burger stand. And that was very unfortunate, because then after those 3 caps went out, it was almost a full wipe. And at this point, all survivors bleeding. They have 4 sets of pills. That hit did just get shut down, aside from the single boom going out. There is still a witch up as well, but at this point, because of their health, I think their goal is second tank.
Absolutely. I mean, Dr. Sheep played that tank so brilliantly, just like on the last map. He almost made it happen. I mean, he landed, as you said, Asian unfortunately almost sort of cornered himself, and Dr. Sheep in-capped him. He then got an amazing curve rock onto Coach just as he was going into the safe room. I think they could have played for the kill. That might have been a bit of a miscalculation on their part, but that was a ton of damage, and I mean, that had me literally on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that actually was going to turn into a wipe for a second. It definitely did not look that way when that double cap went out. It was gorgeous. And we have a hit coming in right now with that Smoker whiffing. We do have the Jockey going out. Smoker, again, not hitting the intercept. The Hunter does land onto Alice for a split second, and Asian really wants to kill the Smoker. Is going to get it right there. But again, with the way their health is, you know, the old rule, at least from what I used to hear, is that, like, okay, you have a chance of making the chopper if you take 2 downs max with that tank. And that was a lot of damage for that first tank, I would say. And that takes a little bit of the pressure off Yaeger Bagels, but they need to guarantee a second tank wipe so that they can then play that first tank better on the survivor side as Team Coach Dave's Academy continues to bleed. Their next hit is going to be a Hunter Spitter Charger and a Jockey for Team Yaeger Bagels, and let's see if they're able to continue this damage output, but they might wait until the Horde restarts.
Yeah, like you said, you know, if you take 2 downs with that first tank, you still have a good chance of making the chopper. And I mean, Coach Dave's, they're like right on the line. They're like right on the edge of what you think. Maybe it was like 2 in-caps, maybe 2 in-caps and a bit more. I mean, it's gonna be close. And I mean, this entire match has been super close, so it's going to be just such a ride to try and watch this and see what happens. We do have the Hunter going out onto Nick. This Jockey's going in as well. They both get shut down. The Charger and Spitter are moving in. This is the very last. You get the charge onto Nick, but the Spit gets blocked by a common, I believe. No, it got shut down before it even had to fire.
Yeah, I mean, and at this stage, it's going to be Amethyst with the second tank. And we're already going to have 1 survivor dropping into slow. 2 survivors we need to commit pills to stay fast in addition to that. And now, I think what the survivors are going to try to do is they probably just have to hard LOS and make sure they don't die before all the distance points tick up, but that's how close this has been in this game with a 40-point differential going into the finale. They got to make sure they can get the absolute max out of this. We do have 100 getting seated with a Smoker pull going out onto Ellis and an okay amount of damage on that fit right at the end onto Rochelle once again. And now, I think they're just going to try to work their way around, kill the rest of these common, and then I don't know exactly what the call is on Survivor Smith side, and don't get immediately wiped by the tank insta-committing.
Yeah, I mentioned this in the last Dark Carnival game I cast. You know, this area, there's not a lot of SI spawns in between those tanks, and this is a good opportunity to sort of, you know, observe and see which team has the better infected play, which one is more organized. Another charge spit onto Nick. I think he was just out on the edge of that. Regardless, we do have the tank up in the hands of Amethyst. He's going right in. We should kick this off to a war room, am I correct?
I think we're probably actually going to keep it here because this is dangerous now. Tank's going to go in, missing that first punch onto Nick. Already down to 3k. There's no way this doesn't wipe. He's down to 2,000 HP, 2,459 HP with very little support. Brimmer does go in, managing to land onto Asian right there, and this is the one danger of that. Even though all the survivors were slow right there, it's not just a roll in and wipe thing if you don't have that side support. Punch going in onto Ellis again. Now it's looking a little bit better with that one boom going out, but that was dangerous for a second. Tank's gonna jump back down, going in, trying to get the punch here onto Asian, going to get the corner, and then Coach is going to get charged, but Asian isn't quite down. The tank should be able to punch Rochelle here, and is indeed going to get it. But I was scared for a second there, Hollywood. That tank was down to 2.5k HP fast.
Absolutely, really ballsy call going in there. Right from the beginning, he was getting so much chip, but again, as we've seen with these previous maps, Yaeger Bagels, I think they really shine when it comes to tank fights on the infected side. Every single time they get a tank, I mean, the support is always right where it needs to be.
And I would say one of the things that Team Coach Dave's Academy didn't really look out for in that regard, if they killed that smoker, right, and then the tank was able to push them back, they got zoned and double capped near the safe room. And when that happens, that then lets the tank reposition and get a lot of work done. But we are going live with the last half of the last chapter right here on Dark Carnival Finale. Yaeger Bagels on the Survivor side, Team Coach Dave's Academy on the Special Infected. We have a Hunter going in, landing onto Ellis with a spit going down on top of that as well. Jockey going in, getting some scratches, and actually pulling Dr. Sheep back through the spit for some damage, and the tank is in the hands of Lecky for Coach Dave's Academy. Let's send it right on over to that Coach Dave's Academy war room and see what they can do.
Absolutely, let's do it.
That's my pot one.
Okay.
Do you want this or do you want to say?
Yes, actually. I think this is pretty fun.
Alright, I'm gonna go then.
I just kind of want a boomer, but whatever.
Nice. Nice. Is it ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Got one? That's it, that's it, that's it! No! One more. Nice. Good shit, good shit.
What?
It's alright, that's freaking destroyed them.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was almost the wipe. Almost the wipe going out. Jockey going in, going to get M2'd by Dr. Sheep as he stands back up, but such a similar situation here. So much damage from Lecky's tank. That was a clutch clear on that Hunter that was on top of Rochelle, or that would have been a picture-perfect 3-cap wipe. Lots of damage going out. All survivors bleeding. Still a witch in play, and now this is the problem because Yaeger Bagels are going to have to survive that second tank, Hollywood.
This, like you said, this is a repeat of the last round. That tank got so much damage, a near wipe. Luckily, Yaeger's was able to keep their heads cool. They did get that clear onto that Hunter cleared, which, if not, that could have been disastrous. That would have been so much extra damage that they would have to be dealing with now. Regardless, they are going to get that. Oh my, what?
Oh my god!
Hunter lands on Rochelle, and we've got a charge spit onto Ellis. That was disastrous.
This video game is a piece of legendary art that should be explored and exhibited in the Smithsonian for all sorts of time. That may have just sealed Yaeger Bagel's fate. With that witch going and doing what witches do, that means they are going to have to now survive the second tank after this entire horde without the witch bonus and with an extra in cap. that was devastating. And now they're double boom with a Spitter, Charger, and a Jockey. I just don't think they just don't have the health at this stage. Yeah, Jockey goes in, Spit goes in as well, unless something absolutely catastrophic happens to this tank. You know, like I said, it's a wide open area, but that witch was just, yeah.
Those shenanigans I mentioned earlier. I mean, I've only casted 3 matches so far in the tournament, and every single one, a witch manages to do something truly bizarre and completely change the pace of the match from what we were previously seeing. We do have a boom onto Rochelle and Nick. Hunter going out. We got a pull onto Ellis. He is really separated. They're not going to get this clear very soon. That Hunter's still bouncing around. Oh
yeah, I mean, this is just, because of the stage of the game, I think this is just Yaeger Bagels falling a little bit apart, because they know after what happened on that first tank and then that witch, they just did not handle that the way that they necessarily should have. There is one set of pills left on the stage, and I think Coach Dave's Academy showing that resiliency. They're going to outlast Yaeger Bagels, I would say, on this Dark Carnival match right here in front of us. Hunter does manage to go and land. Charger going to land on the Coach as well, taking him down. That's going to be a Spit going out. Archer is also still in cap. That is going to be almost a full cap going out onto Amethyst, and Archer looks like is going to die from that common, and that's going to seal it. Team Coach Dave's Academy is going to take this opening round game, ridiculously hard-fought game from both teams, lots of momentum shifts, an exciting game to watch. They are going to advance to 1-0 in the MavWar Hype Unity Tournament 2018, and Yaeger Bagels are going to fall to 0-1. That's going to be a nice double cap going out with a double boom. Jockey on Coach. Spit is going to spit onto the tape deck system, and it's just Dr. Sheep left up, running around, trying to do what he can. He's going at the Spitter with a melee weapon. He's going to M to it, and M to it, and M to it until it dies. And that's going to be the Yaeger Bagels pretty much throwing in the towel. You know, score differential is also important in this. It's going to be a less than 300-point game for this final differential. Back and forth, you know, and the more they stay alive, the more they help their chances, where if they go 2-1, they can still be one of the 2 teams from their group that advances to that knockout stage. But Highwood, this has been a hell of a match.
Absolutely. The game is technically over. We've got another answer from Alex. Coach who hopefully reported he's not anywhere near helping. This is right again. Like you said, they still have a bit of point difference to make their coach team and losing. It was a hell of a match. It was hard fought and well played on both sides. Just quick fighting goal.
Exactly. I think I got the gist of what you were saying. Your internet was still lagging a little bit there, but I was able to hear. I think that was a hell of a game, and that both teams put a lot of effort into that match, as we just saw. MVP voting for that game is now available at mavwar.com/votemvp. And I also would like to give a big shout out to the Fountime group, to eFreak, the server host, and the UMod config developer. And of course to xBye for streaming this game, and Hollywood for doing the co-casting with me. So, thank you to the admins, thank you to everybody for watching this cast, and to the teams obviously for putting on that kind of show. Any last words, Hollywood, if your internet has become workable again?
I'm hoping and praying that it is workable. Oh, excellent. So, as I was trying to say before, you know, the match was technically over. Yaeger Bagel still had an opportunity to sort of lessen that point difference, still make up a bit, and, you know, I mean, obviously, there's no shame in losing a kind of match like that because both teams played extremely well. It was a great match, and obviously, they still have more matches to play, and they can still make it out of the group stage. That was such a pleasure to watch, and a great pleasure to cast with you, Rails.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you then tomorrow night at 10 Eastern for Game 7 of the tournament. And past that, we hope you guys have a great rest of your evening with whatever else you guys have planned, and we will see you shortly. Thank you very much.